Hey crafty friends, I am back with a process video. This is for week 3 of my Project Life album, and this week I'm using a lot of products from Ali Edwards as well as from Kelly Purkey. I'm using some of the cards from Ali Edwards' Give Kit, and I'm using some cards from Kelly Purkey's January kit. So I have my photos and everything kind of strewn around, so let's get started with the actual process. Here you can see all my photos kind of situated where they're going to go. I did some things off camera. Kelly Purkey released these like speech bubble stamps, and so I stamped 2 instays on some scrap cardstock and trimmed them down because that took me long enough and I didn't think you'd want to watch that. So what you saw me doing was journaling on this pink and white card. I hit 100 subscribers on YouTube that week, and that was pretty amazing for me because I didn't think anyone would want to watch me scrapbook, much less 100 people in the first month. So I took a screenshot of that, printed that out, and on my journaling I just wrote the little channel that could. I reached 100 subscribers this week, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. And so the stamping just says thankful for you. And on the photo, I circled the 100 subscribers, put an exclamation point, and put a few hearts. I know 100 subscribers is pretty small in the bigger scheme of things, but for me, it's major. And so I was really, really grateful. Next to my card that has my photo, it's a card from the Give Story kit. This is not actually Ali's card. I printed it out on matte photo paper because I didn't want to use the card yet, and so I figured if I was going to be printing some other things, I printed some other digital elements. I just printed the card again. So what you saw me doing was looking for a tag to do a little bit of journaling. Sorry, a label to do a little bit of journaling on. I'm trying to read a book every week, and so week 3 of 52, I started a brand new book. So I printed a page of chapter 1. I take public transportation to and from work, so that's where I do most of my reading. So that was a picture of me on the bus reading my book, and so on the tag all I did was write new book this week, 3 of 52. So the card in the bottom left is from the Believe story kit, and that's something I grabbed during her Stories Revisited sale, where they allowed you to purchase some of the digital elements again. And I love the sentiment. It was pretty much about never stopping believing and never stop going and continue to persist and persevere. This was not a good mental health week for me. I have terrible anxiety, and this week it got the best of me, and so I wasn't high functioning, and I did a lot of laying around in bed and not a lot of moving, and so that card really spoke to me. Now, I left this in the video so you can see that it doesn't all work out the first time. So I grabbed a tag, tried to do some journaling, spelled the 3rd word wrong, crossed it out, put a sad face, got a new tag, did the journaling all over again. And the photo that I'm doing journaling on is a picture of myself and my coworkers. Last week was an interesting week at work, and so Thursday, one of the doctors decided he wanted to do the pickle dance in the OR, and he got all my coworkers to do it. And so one of my friends at work videotaped it and sent it to my boss because she was homesick. So I thought it was worth documenting. But here we see that the tag does not fit. If I had used the tag, I would have covered up like 4 people in the picture. So I did all that work, did all that journaling, and the tag did not work. So we go back to the drawing board. What I end up finding is this little, I want to say 2x3. I'm not sure exactly how big it is, but it's also from the Change Story kit. It was one of the story add-ons, and it just says this story and has some foiling. And so I did a little bit of journaling on it. Just wrote workplace shenanigans. After a long day, sometimes you need a dance party. Love my family. I call my work my family. I mean, sometimes I spend more time with them than I do my actual family, and it's a good bunch of people. So stuck that down to the photo. The cork stickers are from the Give Story kit, and the one I put down was a thumbs up. And all that's left to do is work on the top right. So the sentiment that I stamped out says everything is going to be okay. Something that I needed to remind myself of. What I love about Project Life and I love about Ali's products is she reminds you that sometimes it's important to tell the hard stories. And I don't enjoy telling the hard stories, but I think there's value in talking about the days where it's not so great. And so I wrote, this is not the greatest mental health week for me. I was anxious and incredibly stressed out. My sleep suffered. My eating did as well. taking it easy and giving myself grace. It's just something I have to keep reminding myself, that you take life one day at a time, and that you don't always have to have it figured out. And sometimes life does get the best of you, and sometimes, you have mental health problems. I decided that I was not going to be on my anxiety and antidepressants medications, and so that means that I have panic attacks. And thankfully my husband is amazing at helping me get through them, but it was a hard week, and I documented that. I don't know how many more hard weeks I'll have. I know they will keep coming back, but there's value in telling that story. And I could scrapbook all the good things that happened, but I think it's really important that, again, we tell the not so great stories. So now I'm stamping on my title card. I have been stalking Allie's website until this stamp went back in stock. Heba from my little journal uses it all the time, and I wanted one so bad, and I finally got one. So just putting week 3 on this Hello January card. My spread was very pink. It was pink and corals and yellows, and those are happy colors for me, and they're, bright colors, and I needed a little bit of levity after the week I had. So that is the left side of my spread done. I agonize over these cork stickers for a little bit. I try to figure out how to put a cork sticker on the title card, because I thought it looked a little plain, but now that everything's in the pocket and I'm looking at the complete spread, I'm glad I didn't do anything else to it. So I glue down, and I think I've done this every week since I've started Project Life this year. I end up putting 2 3x4 photos in that 4x6 spot, just because I like having a place to journal. So I just ended up gluing them down to the back of that card and put the rest of my photos in the pocket. In a second, we will move on to the right side of the page, and you'll get to see everything else I made. But I think here the left side is finished. I did a lot of journaling this week, and I'm really grateful that I had, a place to write all my thoughts down. So, yep, left side's done. Now we're moving on to the right. So, for the right side, I have more things from the Give Story kit. I have a very old Studio Calico card, and I know it's an old card because it has round corners, and nobody makes round corners anymore. I used a Story of This Meal paper from the paper pad that was in the Eat Story kit. My journaling on the Thank You for the Gifts You've Brought to My Life card was typed because I knew I wouldn't be able to fit it all on the, if I hand wrote it. And so all I did was write about the meal. Joshua made soup for me one night. It was curried butternut squash soup, and it was delicious. And I finally got to use another one of those cork stickers. Again, so my journaling just pretty much says, thank you for being patient with me when I'm not at my best. Thank you for loving me and being exactly what I need, even when I don't know it yet. Thank you for picking up the slack, for taking care of both of us on the days when I can barely get out of bed. You, husband, are a gift beyond compare, and I hope that I always remember that. And so I found that chipboard that says given just feels good, and it's a picture of him smiling. I like to force Joshua to take candids. He's always shirtless, so I make him go put a shirt on so I can take a picture of him, which is not very candid because it's kind of staged, but it's the only way I get pictures of him and get him into my album. And so that was a picture of him making dinner. He actually made dinner more days last week than I did. He's amazing. And so that card in the bottom right says finding my way. And I just did a little bit more journaling about how much he loves me and how good he is to me and how helpful it is to have him on the weeks when I'm not my best. So on the card, the photo in the top left, we got our wedding photos this week. And so I printed my favorite photo, which was us playing with sparklers in the gazebo, even though it was minus 15 degrees outside. And so the card that I did some journaling on just said the definition of joy over and over in a circle. And I wrote that being with you, loving with you, and agonizing over wedding photos with you is my definition of joy. And then I grabbed one of these embossed circles. These were an add-on from the Give Story kit. And it says celebrate. You can't really see it, but it says celebrate, and it's white on white. And then I wrote this moment with you underneath it, just to repeat the circles. I'm trying to, do some designy things and repeat elements. So I trimmed off the bottom of that circle, so it's more of a semicircle than anything else. And I think this side of the page is finished. Yep, putting things in the cards, in the pockets, sorry. So that's typically a sign that we're done. So after this, we'll go back and you get to see both pages together. So if you enjoyed this, feel free to like and comment and subscribe, and there'll be more videos for you to watch right here after the break. Have a great day, crafty friends.